Welcome back. This could be the video that changes your life. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Kennedy half-dollar coins, their iconic design, hidden history, and the valuable secrets many people overlook. In this video, we'll explore the top 3 most valuable and ultra-rare Kennedy half-dollars ever found in the United States, including 1973 D Kennedy half-dollar, 1978, no mint mark, Kennedy half-dollar, 1985 P Kennedy half-dollar. We'll uncover their mint marks, shocking histories, and why some of these coins, despite having a dull gray or silver-like color, being copper-nickel clad, or even in dirty, worn condition, can still be worth thousands, or even millions of dollars today. These coins may look ordinary at first glance, but appearances can be deceiving. So before you spend that old half-dollar, stick around till the end. Because you might be holding a hidden fortune in your hands. Backhand index pointing right. First up, coin number 1. Welcome back. This is not just another coin video. This is a story about a small, dull-looking Kennedy half-dollar that has the power to change a life overnight. A coin most people ignore. A coin that has passed through countless hands. A coin that looks ordinary, worn, dirty, and made of simple copper and nickel, but behind its quiet appearance hides one of the most shocking and misunderstood histories in American coinage. Today, we are talking about the 1973 D Kennedy half-dollar. A coin many people have spent without a second thought. A coin that, under the right circumstances, has sold for unimaginable amounts of money and continues to surprise collectors even today. To understand why this coin matters, we must go back in time. The Kennedy half-dollar was born from tragedy. After the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963, the United States rushed to honor him. His face replaced Benjamin Franklin on the half-dollar almost overnight. At first, these coins were struck in silver, and people saved them immediately. But by the early 1970s, silver was gone. Rising metal prices forced the U.S. Mint to switch to a copper-nickel clad composition, a sandwich of copper inside, nickel on the outside. By 1973, the half-dollar had already started disappearing from daily life. Vending machines didn't like it. Cash registers didn't have space for it. Banks ordered fewer of them. The public slowly stopped using them. And that is where the mystery begins. The 1973 D Kennedy half-dollar, struck at the Denver Mint, was never meant to be special. It was produced quietly, without celebration, without attention. No silver. No fanfare. Just another dull gray coin meant for circulation. But history has a strange habit of turning ordinary things into legends. What makes this coin dangerous to underestimate is not what it is supposed to be, but what it sometimes became by accident. During the early 1970s, the U.S. Mint was undergoing constant changes. Old dies were reused. Equipment was pushed beyond limits. Quality control was inconsistent. And mistakes happened more often than officials liked to admit. Some 1973 D Kennedy half-dollars were struck with unusual characteristics: abnormal weight, strange surface texture, missing or weak mint marks, double details, off-metal strikes, and planchets that simply should not have existed. Imagine this. A copper-nickel coin accidentally struck on the wrong metal. A die used past its lifespan, creating ghost-like doubling. A mint mark punched slightly off, or barely visible at all. A coin released into circulation before anyone noticed. These are not theories. These are the kinds of mint errors that have shocked collectors for decades. And here is the part most people don't want you to think about. Condition matters, but rarity matters more. A dirty, worn, dull 1973 D Kennedy half-dollar might look worthless to the untrained eye. But if that coin carries a rare mint error, an experimental strike, or an undocumented anomaly, its value is no longer tied to face value or metal content. It becomes a one-of-a-kind historical artifact. There are collectors who spend years chasing coins like this. There are private deals that never make headlines. There are auction prices whispered, not advertised. Could every 1973 D half-dollar be worth millions? No. But could one specific coin, with the right story and the right mistake, reach life-changing value? Absolutely. And this is why people lose fortunes without ever knowing it. Because they clean the coin. They spend it. They trade it for lunch money. They assume copper nickel means worthless. History disagrees. Some of the most expensive coins ever sold were once considered mistakes. Useless. Scrap. Until the right collector recognized what everyone else ignored. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar sits in that dangerous middle ground, too modern for most people to respect, too ordinary for beginners to examine carefully, and too misunderstood to be properly protected. If you find one, especially with a dull silver-gray tone, unusual weight, strange sound when dropped, weak or abnormal mint mark, or surface details that don't look right, stop. Do not clean it. Do not spend it. Do not rush to sell it cheaply. Because coins like this are not about today's value. They are about what history decides tomorrow. A single discovery can rewrite a collector's life. A single mistake can turn pocket change into generational wealth. And a single careless moment can erase that chance forever. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is not just a coin. It is a reminder. A reminder that fortune doesn't always shine. A reminder that history hides in plain sight. And a reminder that sometimes, the most powerful objects in the world are the ones people overlook. So before you spend that old half-dollar, before you dismiss it as dirty, dull, or ordinary, look again. Because that coin in your hand might already be worth more than everything you own. And this was only coin number 1. Welcome back. What you are about to hear is not a rumor, not exaggeration, and not fantasy. It is the hidden story of a coin that almost everyone ignores, the 1978 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark. A dull gray, copper-nickel coin that looks ordinary, feels ordinary, and often sits forgotten in drawers, jars, and old collections. Yet behind its quiet surface lies one of the most misunderstood and potentially life-changing chapters in modern American coin history. By 1978, the Kennedy half-dollar had already faded from everyday use. Stores avoided it. Banks stopped ordering it in large numbers. The public had quietly pushed it aside. And because of that, the U.S. Mint made a critical decision that would change the future of this coin forever. Instead of producing Kennedy half-dollars for general circulation, they struck them in limited numbers, mostly for collectors, not for daily spending. That decision alone turned the 1978 half-dollar into something far rarer than most people realize today. The no mint mark on a 1978 Kennedy half-dollar tells a very specific story. It means the coin was struck in Philadelphia, the heart of American coin production. But in 1978, Philadelphia was not producing half-dollars the way it once did. Production was quieter, smaller, and far less controlled than the public assumed. Coins were struck in limited runs, dies were reused longer than they should have been, and mistakes slipped through the cracks. This is where the legend begins. Some 1978 Kennedy half-dollars left the mint with strange characteristics, subtle but powerful differences that only careful eyes notice. Slight doubling in Kennedy's profile. Unusual texture on the fields. Abnormal edge coloration. Unexpected weight. A dull silver appearance that confuses people into thinking the coin might contain silver when it officially should not. These are the kinds of anomalies that turn a forgotten coin into a collector's obsession. And here is what makes this coin especially dangerous to underestimate. Because the coin is copper-nickel clad, people assume it has no value. Because it looks dirty or worn, they assume it is worthless. Because it has no mint mark, they assume it is common. But in reality, the opposite can be true. Coins struck during low production years, especially those not intended for circulation, exist in far smaller numbers than people imagine. When one of those coins also carries a rare mint error, an undocumented variation, or an experimental strike, its value escapes normal price guides entirely. These are the kinds of coins that never appear publicly. They move quietly between collectors. They sell in private rooms, not headlines. They are authenticated, sealed, and locked away. Could a single 1978 no mint mark Kennedy half-dollar truly be worth millions? Not every one. But one specific coin with the right strike, the right flaw, the right story absolutely can. And history proves that modern coins once dismissed as worthless have later shocked the world with record-breaking prices. This is why collectors fear one thing more than rarity: ignorance. Because people clean these coins, destroying their surface. They spend them, never looking twice. They sell them cheap, believing copper nickel means no future. But coins do not gain value because of metal alone. They gain value because of history, scarcity, and mistakes. The 1978 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark sits at the center of all three. It comes from a year when half-dollars were not meant for circulation. It comes from a mint where production was limited and inconsistent. And it exists in a time when errors were more common than records admit. If you ever hold one of these coins, especially with a dull silver-gray color, unusual sound, strange surface details, or anything that feels off, stop immediately. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not rush to sell it. Because once altered, its story is erased forever. Coins like this do not make people rich overnight because they are shiny. They do it because they survive untouched long enough for the truth to be discovered. Fortunes are not always loud. They are not always gold. And they are not always obvious. Sometimes, they look exactly like a dirty half-dollar that nobody wanted. The 1978 no mint mark Kennedy half-dollar is not just a coin. It is a warning. A warning that history hides where people stop looking. A warning that value is not decided today but tomorrow. And if you are holding one right now, understand this clearly. Do not spend it cheaply. Do not dismiss it. Because in the right hands, at the right time, that single coin carries the power to change a life forever. And this was not even the most shocking one yet. Welcome back. What you are about to hear may sound impossible at first, but history has proven again and again that the most ordinary-looking coins often hide the most extraordinary secrets. Today, we uncover the shocking and rarely discussed story of the 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar, a dull gray, copper-nickel coin that most people would never look at twice, yet one that carries the silent potential to change a fortune overnight. By 1985, the Kennedy half-dollar was already a forgotten coin in America. It was no longer used in daily transactions. Cashiers avoided it. Banks stopped circulating it regularly. The public had moved on. And when a coin disappears from everyday life, something dangerous happens: production becomes quiet, oversight weakens, and history starts slipping through unnoticed cracks. The P mint mark on this coin tells us it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the oldest and most symbolic mint in the United States. But in 1985, Philadelphia was producing half-dollars with almost no public attention. These coins were not meant to be admired. They were not expected to be saved. They were produced with the assumption that no one would care. And that assumption is exactly what gave birth to rarity. The 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar was struck in copper-nickel clad, not silver. Officially, there was nothing special about it. No celebration. No announcement. No warning. Just another year, another coin. But inside the mint, things were far from perfect. Dies were overused. Machines were pushed beyond limits. Quality checks were rushed. And mistakes, quiet, undocumented mistakes, escaped into the world. Some of these coins emerged with unusual surfaces. Some showed weak or strange details in Kennedy's hair and profile. Some had abnormal textures that caught light differently. Some carried a dull silver-gray tone that confused even experienced collectors. And some had subtle errors so rare that they were never officially recorded. This is where the value story begins, not with metal, but with mistakes. Coins like the 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar become dangerous because people underestimate them. They see dirt and assume damage. They see wear and assume worthlessness. They see copper-nickel and assume zero future. But collectors know something the public doesn't: modern coins with rare errors are some of the most aggressively hunted items in numismatics today. A single undocumented error coin can become legendary. A single strike anomaly can rewrite price expectations. A single surviving example can dominate private auctions. And the most shocking part? Condition does not always matter the way people think. A dirty, circulated 1985p Kennedy half-dollar can still hold enormous value if it carries the right flaw. Because rarity is not about beauty, it is about survival. About how few exist. About how many were destroyed without anyone realizing what they were. This is why fortunes are lost quietly. People clean the coin, erasing history forever. People spend it, sending it back into the system. People sell it cheaply, believing it has no future. But collectors are patient. And time always favors patience. The most expensive coins in history were not always ancient. Many were modern. Many were ignored. Many were laughed at until the right moment arrived. And when that moment arrives, price guides become meaningless. Value becomes a negotiation between obsession and scarcity. Could every 1985p Kennedy half-dollar make you rich? No. But could one specific coin, one error, one anomaly, one survivor reach unimaginable value? Yes. And history has already shown us that what seems impossible today becomes obvious tomorrow. That is why this coin is dangerous to spend. Because the difference between pocket change and generational wealth is sometimes invisible. Because the most powerful coins are often the quietest. Because history does not announce itself, it waits. The 1985p Kennedy half-dollar is not loud. It does not shine like gold. It does not demand attention. It waits. It waits in drawers. In old rolls. In forgotten collections. In hands that do not yet understand what they hold. If you ever come across one, especially with a dull silver-gray appearance, unusual surface, strange weight, or details that feel wrong, stop immediately. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not rush to sell it for quick money. Because once its surface is altered, its story dies. Coins like this do not create billionaires because they are common. They do it because they are misunderstood. And misunderstanding is the birthplace of lost fortune. The 1985p Kennedy half-dollar is more than metal. It is a silent test of awareness. A reminder that value hides where attention ends. And proof that history still moves through our hands every day. So before you spend that half-dollar, before you dismiss it as dirty or ordinary, remember this. Fortune does not always come wrapped in gold. Sometimes, it comes disguised as nothing at all. And this coin may already be worth more than you ever imagined.